Movies are a thing.
They are a thing, last I checked anyway.
They are indeed a thing. The motion picture. It's a picture that is moving.
Sometimes they're animated.
Sometimes they are. Oh, God.
I mean,
Hello.
hi.
Welcome to this week's episode of the seasonal anime checkup OVA.
Why are you so monotone?
It's episode 134. Are you booing the 134 aspect of this?
No, I'm booing. I wasn't booing anything. I was just laughing at the
You're
fact that you're just like,
raspberrying me?
I was raspberrying you, yes.
Oh, man. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Anne Ladyem.
Hello.
And this is the podcast where we have conversations about anime, video games, manga, all that.
Movies.
And movies, the motion picture genre.
Yep.
That's not a genre, that's a medium.
It is a medium.
I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Good question, but that's fine. Like, I don't think either of us know what we're talking about anymore.
Nope, never. We're talking about a film today that we watched last night.
Yep.
As of when we're recording this.
Correct.
Based in a series that you have no experience with, no grounding with. A series that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be like, hey, here's this, and this. But this is from a production team that we are very familiar with.
Big fan.
And a director that we're familiar with.
Big fan.
So there is all that. We watched Liz and the Blue Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Caca.
It is a film.
It is indeed a film.
Oh,
it is.
Oh. That's my belly.
Oh, I thought you were like, your belly's like, oh, let me interject here with a thing.
No, Max was standing on my belly.
And no, it was, please get off my belly.
He was just standing on it and it hurt.
Liz the Bluebird is a spin-off film from the Sound Euphonium series, which was a anime television series that ran in like the second season came out in 2016. I think the first season came out in 2015. Let's double check 2015, yeah, I was right.
Cool. Good job.
They've come out with a few films after that, like compilation films that basically retell the story and all that. All that is based off of a bunch of light novels that have been published and everything. There's only been one that's come out in English, which is a shame. That was like 2 years ago, so the rest are definitely not coming out over here.
Hyoka situation.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this is the a spinoff that kind of takes one of the stories from the first half of the second season and puts it out into its own separate story. Kind of changes some things here and there. But yeah, that is the whole gist of this. This was directed by famed Kyoto Animation director Naoko Yamada, who of course was a director in K-On!, directed A Silent Voice, and now this is her follow-up to A Silent Voice, essentially, in the directorial role. All that stuff. And also, like I said, done by Kyoto Animation, so it looks baller as so.
Amazing. Like,
you got that going for you.
Her and having the animation team, it's just like, okay, yeah, of course this was going to be amazing.
The Kyoto Animation flex is in full effect here.
Oh,
not the character flex,
is.
but just them flexing the hey, we're really good at our jobs.
We're really good at what we do. Do you want to see? Well, we'll show you exactly how good we are at what we do.
It's true.
And it's like, guys, really? You can calm down.
It's true. This film came out last year in Japan on April 21st, 2018, and then was brought over to the States in theaters, as you mentioned, on November 9th, 2018, and then came out on Blu-ray and DVD, home video, earlier this year on March 5th, 2019. So relatively recent.
Yeah.
Gotten some rave reviews here and there, so I was interested in it because of the source material and everything, but you came into this fairly blind.
Right, really blind, other than knowing that it was Kyoto Animation.
Right. I guess with that in mind, like, do you think this film works as its own, like, kind of like as its own entity, like, even though it does like have all these ties to this like overall parent series, like, does it work on its own as just like a singular entity story?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. That's it. All we need to know.
No, it really
Podcast
does.
over.
It really does. Because like there were some elements here and there that you're like, oh, this is a reference to this, or this character is this. But at the same time, like I felt like I wasn't really missing anything by not knowing that. Because the focus was on like these two characters and their dynamic, and also the fairy tale section of it. So like that felt like it was what mattered. And so like not having all the details of the show, like I was fine. And anything that I missed, like the fact that the one girl like dropped out at one point and then came back, like they addressed in the movie. So it wasn't like I was just completely confused as like, oh, that happened, wow, that's weird. Although I was confused for a while because I thought it was like an all-girls school, and then like
Nope.
they were talking about boys in their like chemistry class or biology class, and I was like, where are you boys? But then I found one.
You found one boy.
One boy. But yeah, I felt like it was pretty solid as a standalone. I don't think that I understand that it's like inspired from and also like part of the series, but it doesn't feel like it has to be.
Right.
Like this could be honestly like completely unrelated and I wouldn't know. Like So anyway, that's my say on it.
There you go.
The word of Al.
I would agree with you on that, especially even though I come from a background of knowing like the original series and everything. Like, it does a good enough job on its own to where like you don't really need to have those preconceived notions or that prior knowledge of what's happened in this series to really get at the story of like these two characters specifically. So it does a good enough job of just like telling their story specifically. And like if you've watched the series before, like there's enough,
you get like nods and things like that. You're like, oh, I know what that's a reference to, but like you don't have to have it in order to understand it.
Right. Which I think is good.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, then I just completely forgot it when I went on that little tangent. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. One of the I mentioned this on Twitter back when I first watched this, but like one of the things that really stuck out to me when watching this film, which made me watch it in a different light because I got very like just analytical about it, was the idea of how the cinematography worked, in that there was a lot of just like shots where the camera just doesn't move.
Right.
A lot of just still shots. And that is very like prevalent throughout the entire film. Like if you like went and like calculated like the amount of like just still shots to moving shots, I bet it's like 30 to 40% of the shots in the film are moving, which seems real low.
Yeah.
For like just any kind of production in general. Which I thought was just interesting because like a lot of, I mean, it is a kind of like a slow moving film, so like you don't need a lot of just like rushing camera shots and all this like craziness, but like
action hero.
Yeah, like you can have just a lot of just shots that are just like focused on the character and just like kind of have them just like stay there essentially, which is interesting because, you know, we gave the Orange live action film some flack for just having a bunch of just shots that were like lingering too long. But for this, it works in like a different way than I think that did.
I think it's different because the lingering shots in Orange didn't really have any kind of like purpose.
Right.
And a lot of the ones here actually have some kind of point. Other than just being a flex. Yeah.
And I think like even like when you it does a good enough job to like where you if you notice it, you will notice it. And specifically like you'll see all of these like stationary shots, but like when they actually do camera movement, it makes that shot in particular feel important in a way that like it normally wouldn't. which I think is a very impressive like just technique that they were able to pull off, and not even like just the scope of an anime film, but just in the film in general. Because that's just not a thing you're really ever gonna pick up on unless you know how to like look at film or like study that type of media in particular. But it's a really cool thing to kind of just like look at and be like, oh wow, this this makes this like shot because they're actually moving the camera. It makes it feel a lot more important. It makes it kind of feel like it has this more gravitas to it, and it's very interesting. Like I was kind of blown away by that when I watched it the first time.
But then it also made us notice it in K-On!
Yeah, like the first episode of Jared and I watched K-On! We did after I watched this, I like specifically was looking out to see like does K-On! Kind of do the same thing, and like the first episode we watched of K-On!, like there was like less than 10 moving shots in that episode.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right. Except like the next episode like kind of just like completely subverted that and had a bunch of moving shots. But like it's interesting that like, oh, like this is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a fun parallel. I don't know if that episode's out yet. It might be out relatively soon, but you'll definitely hear us talk about that on either we've already talked about it or on a future episode of Jared Now Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Because I definitely made mention of that. But yeah,
You did.
Cinematography in this film is very interesting, and it's definitely something if you have an eye for you can pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively like early on in the film. But yeah, let's discuss this film.
Okay.
This movie. This animated drama film.
Liz has very long legs.
Got that clamp look going for her.
She really has that clamp look. Like, she's taller than the deer. How are you taller than a deer? Anyway, this is irrelevant to the plot.
Got long legs.
Imagine if she stick her leggy out. She stick her leggy out way far.
It's a mile long.
Basically. The deer's like, whoa, I am so jealous.
Look at that leggy. So this film kind of falls into two different stories. One is of the titular Liz and the Bluebird, which is a fairy tale that gets explained throughout the film, and then the other story is about these the two characters that are the main characters of the film, Mizure and Nozomi, who are members of the concert band club from their school, which I completely forget the name of.
One is a flutist and one is an oboist. An oboe player.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and they're friends. Some might say the best of friends.
They are good friends. They are also tasked to play the solo sections of they're playing the musical piece based on Liz and the Bluebird, and they have this big solo section, and they are, the key components to that.
One thing that I was thinking about, and I'll bring it up again later as we move through the story, but when we're first introduced to these two girls, like, Mizure, is that her name? I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, Mizure.
Okay, her. Yes. She's like sitting alone and she's like waiting on the stairs and very quiet. And then Nozomi? Yeah. She shows up and is like, hey, let's go. The other one follows behind her. And that's a thing that is important, that she's always following behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
They make very clear, like, early on that, like, Nozomi is very, like, outgoing, friends with a lot of different people, and Mizure is, like, very, like, the opposite of that. She's, friends with Nozomi, but that's pretty much it in terms of, like, who she kind of, like, hangs around with and everything.
It makes me want to call her Misery.
Misery loves his company.
It's true.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Bop.
But yeah, you very much early on see that dynamic between the two, but they are they are friends and everything, so they have that going for them.
Mhm.
Um, my leggy went to sleep. But yeah, that they basically have this big piece they have to perform, and it is based on Liz and the Bluebird. So Nozomi has like a book that's like kind of like a big old picture book that kind of tells the tale of it, and she lends it to Nozomi, or she lends it to Mizure, excuse me, and Mizure reads it for the first time, and that's kind of like how like the film transitions into telling that story, to where like they basically even like go forth and change like the art style and everything, make it more of like a Studio Ghibli Disney type of like animation look. It's very bright colors. The character
Mhm.
designs just look different. Like they have like kind of that more fantasy look to them. Um, Once again, aka the Kyoto Animation flexes on effect here,
Oh
basically.
yeah. It's legit. Like when we were watching, I was like, wow, this is really Disney Princess because it's just like animals everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this film is just insanely pretty.
It is.
Insanely pretty.
It's ridiculous.
Like legit the whole time I was watching, it's like, this is gorgeous. Like it's unfair how pretty this is. And even like when they're doing like the high school scenes, like not even the fairy tale parts of it, it's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? Anyway, continue. I interrupted you by talking about prettiness.
Nah, it's great. It's fine. It's that Kyoto Animation flex. But basically, in the like the fairy tale section, you learn about Liz. She makes bread. She sells bread. She lives in a house by herself. Kind of doing her thing. Uh, there's a big storm that happens, and then like the next day, she finds there's just a person just laying in the ground.
Yeah, there's not in the ground, but on the ground.
She's just in the ground, stuck. The storm blew me into the ground.
She's a Bethesda character. um, no, but she's just like on the ground, and Liz is like, "Oh no, there's a person. Are you okay, person?" And person is like all dressed in blue and has blue hair. I wonder who this person could be.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah, Liz and this unknown person get very close and all this sort of stuff. And Liz wants them to like spend forever together.
Mm-hmm.
Forever together. It's a new phrase.
Together Forever is a Rick Astley song, and that is what she wants to sing to this.
Of course,
new
you would
person.
know that. Of course, of course. But yeah, that is basically kind of the gist of that story, and becomes kind of like a key component throughout the entire film of just like how the two of them interpret the story, and like how they have to kind of like also interpret it in a way that they have to perform their selected piece together, and have to like blend together the respected characters' feelings for each other and all that. And it becomes kind of it becomes troublesome for the two of them to keep that up, essentially.
Mm-hmm. They start having conflict.
They start having conflict.
Also, just so, but they're a little blowfish in this, and they're adorable.
Tiny little blowfish.
They're little bitty babies. I was like, you guys are so cute. And I legit, like, every time the blowfish showed up, I was like, oh, look at you. Really cool. And there's even a joke about the blowfish at one point, because one of the girls like is compared to the blowfish, and she's like, "Whoa."
Whoa.
Why would he compare me to a blowfish? Is it because the dress doesn't fit?
It's very rude.
Yeah, I mean, like, also just not a nice thing to say to somebody, but
It's not. No.
maybe he was just saying that she was cute because they're cute.
I mean,
There are better ways to say you're cute than you look like a blowfish.
it's true. So yeah, like we said, there's a lot of scenes where you get to see like Nozomi out with like different friends, and Mizure kind of keeping to herself.
There's
one
girl,
yeah,
who tries to befriend her.
One of the girls that's also like an oboe player, Ririka, tries to basically befriend Mizure because they play the same instrument and everything, and
there's so few of them.
Yeah, and she wants to like involve her and like the other players, just like hanging out and all that sort of stuff.
And she's a senpai, right? Like Mizure is senpai to the other
Yes,
ones.
yes. So that becomes a thing as well. Like Ririka comes and talks to Nozomi about it, and is like, does she hate me? And Nozomi's like, nah, she's just shy. She'll eventually come around. And eventually, Mizori does kind of like come around to her. Like, it's very like slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just like having to like kind of whittle down her wall that she puts up in front of everyone. But that becomes a thing as well.
That girl is my favorite character. She's so cute. She has like little fluffy hair and like a cute little hairstyle, and she has her little cardigan on, and she's so nice, and she has little freckles across her nose, and she keeps saying like cute stuff every once in a while. And she does the like anime like hee hee joke or like
Yeah.
laugh. Um, but she's just super pure, and I was worried. I'm like, I hope that she doesn't do something mean because I really like her.
Nah, she just wanted to be friends.
She just really wanted to be friends and like genuinely wanted to be friends with her, and it
Mm-hmm.
was really cute and it made me happy. And then like the one time she got invited to the pool party, I'm like, yay.
Which they very much just quickly like fly by. It's like, all right, that's it.
Oh yeah, they're just like, look at this picture of this pool party we went to. Wow. All
That was
right,
a thing.
that existed.
All right, anyways.
Thanks.
So yeah, she gets a friend and all that, but there becomes like a tension that happens between Mizure and Nozomi. Mizure has one of her teachers like recommend her go to a music college. It's like, hey, you should do this. You should look into this. It would be really good for you. Um,
Yeah, they find out that she only filled out her name
the
on
career
the
survey.
career survey, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Hey, you should come talk to us
mm-hmm.
because no."
Can't do that. Um, so she So she's walking with it, and Nozomi sees it and is like, "Hey, what's this?" And Mizuru is like, "It's a flyer that the teacher gave me about going to this music college." And Nozomi's like, "Oh, huh." And Nozomi's like, "I get," or like, maybe I should apply. And Mizuru's, "I'll apply if you do. That'd be great. You
Yep.
should definitely do that." Okay, that's our thing now. So basically, Mizuru only wants to go if Nozomi goes and all that. Nozomi's like kind of tepid about it. This kind of comes up later when they're doing like a meeting with like the heads of the club. So that includes Yuko and Natsuki as well. Those two are characters that are more prominent in the main series. They kind of go through like a fun little arc in the main series where like they're very like kind of, I guess like what's a good way to describe it? Like feisty with each other, but then they become friends. Um, but they are like the heads of the club now. That like the third years from the first season have already graduated or graduated from the club specifically. So like they're talking about kind of like general club stuff and everything, and they discuss like, oh, you're going to the same college that Mizure is going to, and somebody's like, maybe, I don't know, and he's like, that's the kind of like the first kind of inklings that you see, like she's kind of becoming wishy-washy on it, not wishy-washy on it, but she's not really
Indecisive on it.
yeah, she's not too sure about it. And Mizure is like, ugh. And basically, Natsuki and Yuko basically are the ones who pick up on like something's going on between those two. Like it's not really like explicit or maybe
Right.
something that they've said to each other, but there's something happening between the two that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this comes up later on when they have a big practice with everyone in the band. They're performing the piece that they are responsible for, and the club advisor Taki basically stops them and is like,
Floofy hair?
yes, he's the teacher, the composer teacher.
He has
Um,
good floofy hair.
he basically stops both of them and is like, hey, you need to do this, and this, and also you need to do this, and this. You're not really like connecting with these characters
WTF.
or kind of having like their feelings go across each other. You're just kind of just playing for the sake of playing. It's not you need to bring more emotion out into this essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens.
That happens. Yes. Did we skip the part where they talk about the love you game?
Oh yeah, there's a weird like hug thing.
Yeah, where like the people will like somebody will hug you and tell you like all the reasons that they love you and think you're great. Um, and at one point, like Mizure like puts her arms out like she wants a hug, and Nozomi's just like maybe later.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another like indicator of there being an issue there.
Yeah. Once the whole thing that happens in like club practice, uh, I believe Yuko is talking with Mizore and just discussing things, and Reina, who's one of the main characters in the original series, like comes up and is like, "Hey, got to talk to you about something." And then she talks to Mizore and is like, "Hey, I know you can kind of like play better than this. Like, why are you holding back? Why are you not playing up to your strengths? Like, you should be doing better. Like, I don't understand what you're doing." Which makes sense if like you know her character from the original series, where she's very blunt and she will not like BS around and telling you like how she feels essentially. So like it's very much in line with like that character, but Mizure basically just denies it and is like, this is just how I play. I'm not doing anything different. Um, but again, like since Yuko's there, she basically kind of picks up like on something's happened. We need to figure this out.
Was this Christina V?
Yeah.
Or was that a different character?
No, that's V.
Okay, cool.
So I think after that, that's where you basically begin to see like the rift between them like really start to kind of become a thing. Where you're like, no one's really like saying anything bad about the other one. It's just like something's happened here, and they are kind of like just growing apart.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene that kind of like specifies this particularly when like Mizore is talking with like the teacher who gave her the recommendation to go to the college, and they're in the club room, and she sees Nozomi looking towards her, and Mizore is like waves at her, and Nozomi just like sees that and just looks away and goes back to talking to who she was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And Mizore is like, "Oh, what? That's not good." That eventually leads to Natsuki and Yuko like basically having like a discussion with Nozomi and be like, "Hey, what is going on with you two? Like, you need to somehow figure out how to fix this, or everything's kind of going to go to shambles because you guys are not going to be able to play together with the way things are going."
Mm-hmm.
This brings into conversation the whole thing about how Nozomi had quit their first year, then eventually came back. She did all this without telling Mizure though, which became a kind of a point in contention. It's a story element that basically gets explained more in detail in the base series. They don't really go into it much here. They only kind of just explain about like how it related to those two, but it was more of a thing of like there was a lot of first years who basically thought they just couldn't cut it, and like there was a kind of like almost a mass exodus of the first years during that time, and then some of them eventually do come back, and there's like this weird contention between like those who stayed and then those who come back, like you're really going to come back after we put in all this work just to like ride our coattails, like that kind of like feelings between the two, and it becomes like more of a thing in the main series. But for this, it's just more focused on Mizure and Nozomi's relationship and how that affected them in particularly. Nozomi basically thinks that like, oh, it happened so long ago, like she still thinks badly of it, but I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
And Natsuki and Yuko like basically eventually kind of figure out like you need to figure out exactly what's going on between you two. Like you need to have a talk about this and all that sort of stuff. While they're having that discussion, they notice that or actually they hear what's her face? That's what I call people. What's her face?
I mean, I'm terrible at names, so you're doing better than me.
They hear Reina and Kumiko playing the Liz and the Bluebird part that Nozomi and Mizure are supposed to play, and they're playing it very, very well.
Very well.
And I think Natsuki Yuko makes like a comment of like, oh, that's Kumiko, all right, like she's gonna do something to show off like that. But they hear like what it's supposed to sound like, and that basically like that gives Nozomi like this weird like kind of like being light bulb moment of like, maybe I don't want to be a professional with this. Like maybe I don't want to go to like music college. Like maybe I'm just not. This isn't what I want to do. Um, and then that kind of becomes like the key to them moving towards the end of this, where Mizure and Nozomi have their big confrontation essentially,
Mm-hmm.
where Nozomi is just like kind of like airing out her grievances, is like, hey, this isn't going well. Like I feel like I've kind of just misled you. I've been holding you back. I'm the reason you're not playing as great as you should be. Like all of this is my fault. You should basically hate me for this. All this sort of stuff. And Missouri is like, no, 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 no. Big nose. Um, Missouri is like, discusses like how even though they had the whole thing in the first year of, she left and it didn't tell her, and it did hurt Mizure, but Nozomi was like the person who got her into playing the oboe and everything, and got her into the concert band, and like she was the person who talked to her, made her her friend and everything. Like she's so grateful for that. And like even though like all of this has happened, she's not like necessarily like thinking, oh, you're a terrible person. Like to Mizure, like Nozomi is like her light to her essentially.
Right.
Um, so they have this big old thing, and they get to do their hug finally.
They do. I mean, like this is the most that we hear like Missouri talk the whole
Mm-hmm.
movie basically is this entire like blowout confession moment.
And all of this kind of revolves around like the way that the two of them interpret the ending of Listen to Bluebird,
Correct.
where Mizure is like, I don't understand why she would let the bird go. Like, why would she do that? Like, if you want to be friends with her forever, like, why would you let her go?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the end of it is Liz eventually letting the bird go because she sees that the bird is starting to feel lonely, not being able to hang out with other birds and everything. And even though like they will still like be friends and everything, like you sometimes have to let people go,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Um, Nozomi has kind of a similar feeling of the ending, more just like they should stay together because it would be a happy ending. It's kind of more of a nonchalant way to look at it,
Right.
less just like I'm fueled by emotions when this comes to this. Eventually, both of them like learn through separate means of like what the ending actually is supposed to mean,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of come to that realization at the same time. That leads to that confrontation of and like what they basically like say in it and how they feel coming out of it. Where basically from that, Nozomi realizes that like I'm probably not cut out to go to this music college like you are, like considering I was never like offered it or anything, or like talked about it or anything, so like I'm going to go try and find like just a regular college essentially and study up and get ready for that. Mizure of course is going to continue on her path and everything, but they're still going to play the solo part together. There's another like big performance section where they come into practice, and Mizure basically like immediately is like, can we start with the third section?
Mm-hmm.
And they go into it and like
Nail it.
nail it, and like literally leaves people in tears,
Yep.
like with how much they literally like knock it out of the park. And like all of like the teachers that are there are just like flabbergasted, like, holy crap, you guys you nailed it.
Including that weird Hawaiian shirt teacher.
Yes.
Like I said, I don't know if he was actually like a character in the first one, but he
He
is
is,
very
yeah.
odd, and he just kind of just shows up, and I'm like, "Hello, Hawaiian shirt man."
It's one of those things where like if you would watch the original series, you would know those two as like
Yeah.
they come in and help the concert band whenever they have time, because they're friends of Taki.
Okay. The floofy hair teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I love hair. I want to marry his fictional hair.
He also wears Hawaiian shirts in the original series as well, so
Okay,
that is
never
also a thing.
mind. Never
Not
mind.
him, the Hawaiian
Okay.
shirt guy. He
Okay.
wears Hawaiian shirts throughout the rest of the series.
The Hawaiian shirt man.
Yes. Um but yeah, eventually like you just like the end of the movie is kind of like them doing their own things, Nozomi and Mizure, and then coming together and talking about how like Nozomi tells her that like she's going to try her hardest to help her get through this section and not like let her down or anything like that. And they both are like, we're gonna do our best together.
Gone by Ruby.
They're gonna Gamba Ruby throughout it, and they end the movie and they're walking together home, or they're off to go get food and whatnot, and they're happy.
Um, and the whole ice cream thing happens, which is a funny.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because like there's a scene specifically where you see two characters from the first series, Hazuki and Sapphire, who are just like talking about how if like you say the same thing, you have to say happy ice cream, and then the person who doesn't say it has to buy you ice cream. It's basically jinx, all that sort of stuff. It's a very weird scene because they're only included just for that scene, and it's like very quick and then just done. And
but it makes sense at the end.
It makes sense at the end, but also it's a strange scene. Like it's only they only put it there just to include those two specifically, and then they bring it up at the end.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But I mean, you do see a lot of character growth in it, and the fact that she like is trying to do these things that other people are doing and is interested in like communicating, honestly, because she wasn't before.
Right.
And the one thing that I mentioned at the beginning is that like she always walks behind her, and that's one thing that I find really interesting. And that doesn't they walk a little bit more like evenly at the end, but she's still always behind her. And like it may just be like a character quirk, which I am no professional, but I would assume that she has some version of like social anxiety. But she's always going to like remember her back. It's really depressing.
I mean, she also has like that quirk where like you can tell she's uncomfortable when she messes with her hair.
Yeah.
She had that thing going for her as well.
Which I mess with my hair, so I get that. The big thing that we need to talk about with this is what I was bringing up last night when we watched it. Is that there are multiple ways this movie could be read. In one sense, it could definitely be read as like these two girls are friends and they are figuring out how to like grow up together and understand each other and all that. Another way you could read this, and my first reading of it is more of a like discovering that you're in love with your friend and your friend is a girl. So it may be like and I think and it's certainly implied that if it's the case here that it's a one-sided like romantic affection.
Yeah.
But I definitely saw it as a way of like Mizure definitely had feelings for her. In my interpretation of the film. And I know that it's done in a vague way purposefully.
Right.
And I know that you said that the Japanese subtitles were a lot less like about it.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of just like just straight out stating of like I love you in the English dub.
Yep.
I think the Japanese dub is a little less strong with its language per se. But even then you can still pick up on like that kind of subtext regardless. And like I was telling you last night as well, like this is a series that the main series has that kind of subtext scattered throughout it as well. Like this is not uncommon for this series that you would find two characters that might have like lesbian subtext within them. Like Reina and Kumiko in the main series have that very much so. It was basically it was a big point throughout like just that main series as well that people very much explicitly picked up on, but never was like in the sense here it was never like outright said one way or the other or like you know pushed in that direction per se. But
Hmm.
it is one of those things like you could look at it and be like, there is definitely something there that if they wanted to go that route, they could go that route.
Yeah,
Um,
and it was definitely the case here. And like I said, I my interpretation of it is that it was a one-sided thing.
mhm.
But I mean, you can look at the film overall as like Misery one understanding this feeling, but two like she comes to like understand who she is better.
Mhm.
And so not only is it a sense of like maybe she is like tackling with these feelings, she starts to understand them, but also she's like tackling with herself and she ends up, you know, able to talk with people who aren't just her and she is able to have a life that isn't just her. So she has like a couple of moving parts in terms of growth here. Um, but I think that it was a moment for her of like self acceptance.
Yeah, because like you could also just look at this as like the idea of that adolescent panic of, oh god, I'm about to lose like my friend to we're gonna go off in separate directions, like how do I handle this, what do I do?
Which, yeah, that's terrifying too,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely a valid interpretation
But like you could compound that with like what you were saying as well, and like
for
i think
sure.
i think that makes that even more just like you have all of those kinds of feelings just like wrapped up in you, like you're going to like not have a good time. It's going to make you freak out in a way that you're not necessarily expecting and cause like some kind of potentially cause some kind of rift like what happens in the film.
Yeah, it was interesting for me, and I looked into it later because I was like, is this just me that's reading it this way? But
Mhm.
that was not the case.
No, no, no,
Um,
no.
there were other people that read it that way, but I was like, I could see this.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like it was done well in a way that like I know that it's very rare for it to be any kind of like blatant explicit relationship like that in Japanese media. It's if it is, it's kind of played up as a joke.
Hmm.
Um, so like I understand that it's not going to be like explicit, but I like that that interpretation can definitely be there. And it's a coming of age story in many ways
Hmm.
for both characters, which is cool.
Hmm.
I like it.
Yeah,
Also, holy, it's pretty.
it is a gorgeous looking film, which isn't a big surprise given it's Kyoto
Who it
Animation.
is.
Yeah, but like they do some great work here. Like the background art throughout is just gorgeous looking. There's great animation. Like there's a lot of great just subtleties to their animation of just like adding in little details and little like quirks that characters do that a lot of people just wouldn't like put in.
Yeah, like one thing that I mentioned to you is that I like that the characters had like flyaway hairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like their hair wasn't just like one unit. They had like little pieces that would stick out every once in a while, and like they had different textures of hair. And like, yeah, a lot of them just had like floofy hair, which was nice. I love floofy hair. Um, but like a lot of the main characters, like I said, they had the pieces of hair that would just like stick out in a way. And like the teacher with the nice hair, his like was all over the place in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of looks like he just like woke up and didn't brush his hair and went to work. And like that's a nice detail that people don't really think about. Like you can kind of interpret a lot about a character based on something like that. Like the fact that this teacher would just show up and not brush his hair. Like you can learn a lot about who he is by that. I don't know if that's how they decided that that's how his hair would be, like because they're like, maybe he just didn't brush his hair.
Yeah.
But that's how I read it. And so, like, yeah, he just didn't care about that. I love this dude's hair. Like, I could sit there and talk about that dude's hair for
Good hair.
Dude, like they are phenomenal at making hair. Like the one character that the two characters who play the performance really well um before our main characters do
Mm-hmm.
that you said were from the original show. One of them has like shorter, really floofy hair, and her
Mm-hmm.
hair is beautiful. It's so pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
I
You
mean,
think
like,
so too, huh?
there is a thing around people who like this series where like they see pictures of Kumiko and they're just like, oh, it's the Kumiko floof
Oh, huh.
because she has the floofy hair.
She does have floofy hair.
Um, like we mentioned earlier, we watched the dub of this, which is very good. Like I was very interested going into this just to see kind of like what the quality would be and all that because they never dubbed the actual TV series. I think they only dubbed from what I read like later on, like they only dubbed this and they're dubbing the other film after this, even though like they are splitting the casts, which is very very bizarre.
Uh,
But for what they did for this film, like they did a really good job
they
of
did a
like
really great job.
um I don't know what I was saying.
Dub? Dubcast is really good.
It was really good. They do a good job of doing something. That's what I was saying, and I don't remember what.
They're good at talking.
Yeah, they do a good job of capturing the characters. That's what I was trying to say. Um, Also, as we mentioned, we were watching K-On!, so there's a lot of K-On! Representation in this film, which was very interesting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Nozomi is Stephanie Sheh, who is Yui, obviously, but does not sound like her at all.
Nope.
Rurika is, I cannot pronounce her name, but she's Ui. Obviously V is in here as Reina. Cassandra Lee Morris is in here as well.
Which V just does her Mia voice.
She does. It's straight up just the Mia voice. I was like, oh, that's the Mia voice.
Yep.
Like everyone else, you kind of have to like listening closely, like, oh, okay, okay. But V's is like, this is just the Mia voice.
Yep.
Black-haired girl character, just the Mia voice.
Yep.
But yeah, like they do a great job, and everyone else in the cast does a really good job as well. Like like you mentioned, the actress who does Mizore does a really good job of like
really great.
Basically like finding the line of like being very soft spoken and everything, and then like once she has to kind of like pick up her voice and be very like kind of like boisterous near the end there, like she does a really fantastic job in that aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it's a really good dub cast. It is a shame that they are just basically recasting everyone for the next compilation film.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's a real big bummer.
Did I read it right that Shay was the like voice director for the dub?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
That was indeed also a thing.
Me making the sound or her being the voice
both,
director?
Both. So yeah.
It good.
Like you said, like I think it does a good enough job of just standing on its own. You don't have to come in with the prior knowledge of like watching all of Sound Euphonium to get to this point and understand just like everything that's happening. Like it does a good enough job of just being its own standalone story. Like if you have watched it, you'll definitely pick up on like characters here and there that show up or like references to other characters that aren't necessarily in the film but are in that universe, so you'll know who they're talking about and everything. But on its own, it does a really good job of just like being a story about these two characters specifically and their journey they go throughout this entire film,
Learning about themselves and each other.
It's that sort of thing.
It's so good.
Get to see a lot of Kyoto Animation flex, not character flex, just flexing.
Just flex.
Flexing on you, like, wow, look at our greatness of our animation.
Look at these colors.
Look at this animation.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Legitimately, like every time I see something theirs, I'm just like, holy y'all. Like, did you have to go that hard? Did you? And they're like, yeah, of course we had to go that hard. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. It's beautiful. I'm fine with it. I clearly have a conversation with Kyoto Animation every time I watch their stuff.
I mean, who doesn't?
It's true.
Well, I think that's going to wrap this episode up then.
Hmm. We watched a film.
We watched a dang movie.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good.
So yeah, if you'd like more from us, go to seasonalignmentcheckup.com or sac.cool. That's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Alignment Checkup and Jared Now Watch. You can find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anne Ladyem, go to anneladyem.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. That's where we do Twitter, and you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Next week, we will do something. I don't know. You might be done with Bloodstain by then. We could talk about that, or we'll just talk about something else. Who knows?
I might be since I'm taking Friday off.
Yeah, it's not a long game, so I would assume you.
I'm like 31% done with the
Yeah.
castle, so like
I think the game took me like 15-ish hours to beat,
okay, I'm at like 6.
so I think you'll be fine to do that.
Cool.
If not, we'll figure something else out. We have other options on the table, like always. We eventually have to play Resident Evil 5.
Yes, we do.
We do. We have to do that. So yeah, there's that. Also, if you're just hanging out this weekend, do yourself a favor, and there's some good anniversaries that have come out for this week. 3 years since Love Live Sunshine debuted, happening as we're recording this today. The 3-year anniversary of that. Also, Sunday, the 5-year anniversary of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun.
Oh, what good shows, both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Legit like top tier for me.
So if you want to like go watch those and then listen to us talk about them, we did a podcast on Nozaki-kun. It's some number. It happened like a while ago, last year or the year before. And then we also just did Jared Now. We did a Jared Now Watch on Love Life Sunshine. So you'll listen to us talk about all of those episodes and then the movie.
Although, like, fair warning, I have fallen in way deeper than I ever was when we were doing Jared and Now Watch.
You can listen to like there's a great progression in that series of you from the very beginning being like, yeah, these characters seem neat, to by the time we do the movie where you're like, dude, I'm in so deep.
I'm in so deep.
It's really good.
Talk about character progression.
Yep. So yeah, those are good things that you should definitely check out if you have not, specifically because it's their anniversaries and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, next week we will have something else for you, so look forward to that, and go check out good movies from Kyoto Animation.
Heck yeah.